you a book by Neo Mabiletsa. This one, Patrick Neo Mabiletsa. The title of the book says, "Does Time Really Heal?" And then it says, "Dealing with the loss of a loved one." Unfortunately, Mawabani guys, I had to drive for the long weekend home. I had to drive high Monana the whole day and the whole evening. I only arrived here at 11 midnight. So I could not 8 o'clock shapile somewhere ke le mo sna le body network ha tla ba ke teng ha ntse ke driver ke tla so I couldn't stop by the side of the road. I don't even trust. I'm tired. Yo, waking far. Shame. So today the lighting is not so good, hence I'm even wearing my glasses. The lighting is not so good because you see my ring light kwa missing. So that's why I'm even having glasses. So I'm gonna give you a double dose today. I'm gonna give you this book. I'm gonna give you a reading here and a reading out of my book as promised. Now, who is Neo Patrick Mabiletsa? Neo Patrick Mabiletsa is an author of many books. I lost count of how many books he has. I think I lost count at 6. He may even have more than 6 books that he has written. This book he wrote, Does Time Really Heal? He wrote from a point of a person that had lost their loved one. He had lost his wife in their honeymoon stage, man. They were still in their honeymoon stage when he lost his wife. So it took him long to get to a point where he healed. So he is the very perfect person to write this book, to ask, does time really heal? Because we are dealing with loss in different forms, in the form of death and also in the form of breakups. Yeah. Sometimes in the form of an illness. If a person is gonna be bedridden, or maybe let's say they are hit by a stroke, you're losing them even though they are still there. If they are not able to talk, they are in a stage where they are in a vegetable status. It's a loss. So there are different losses, but I guess the biggest losses that are there in real life are death and divorce. So I really do encourage people who've got losses that they are battling with to find themselves this book, Does Time Really Heal? It is a very good read. It makes very valid points that you also, when you read, you like, and the very yes, and yes, you are like that while reading this book. So I'm gonna read chapter 1. I don't know, I'm tempted to read chapter 2 because the chapters are very short here. Yeah, I think I'll see. Let me read chapter 1. I'll see if I can even go to chapter 2. So chapter 1 says, the title of the chapter says, Death, Where is Thy Sting? That is the heading of this chapter. This question was asked by John Bowring. Death is definitely as irreversible as cessation of all vital functions, as indicated by permanent stoppage of the heart, respiration, and brain activity. Basically, please take it away. Thank you. Death is defined as the irreversible cessation of all vital functions as indicated by permanent stoppage of the heart, respiration, and brain activity. Basically, it's the end. In my mind, death is the end of suffering for the deceased, depending on what the cause was. If they were very, very sick, we can say, yes, that is the end of their suffering. And the beginning of suffering for the ones that are still alive. People try to hide the pain by claiming that God takes those he loves. They also say to themselves or grieving compatriots that, hey, it was time. It was commissioned for the person to die at a time, and there was nothing anyone could have done. Even though I can never disagree with the above statements, I happen to think that we have been taught to say things to ourselves and others as coping mechanisms, or to give ourselves hope that one day we will be in or will feel less pain. We'll be at peace with the situation. The fact is, as much as people grieve differently, death is death, and the only thing that we take or receive from it is pain and sorrow. The pain that comes every time when you think, I will never see this person again. And the pain that you feel when you are at a point where you want to creep inside the box and be buried with that person. As for where is the sting? The sting is in the brain. And then it goes down to the heart. And it affects the whole body. It starts to eat you inside, then it tends to manifest on your face. It starts becoming visible to other people, and they start asking questions like, are you coping? Are you okay? Can we get you anything? Or you start hearing things like, it will pass, time will heal. Or you start hearing things like, you are stronger than you think. Don't look so sad. Or perhaps, she or he is in a resting place. He or she is resting in peace. No more in pain. Just ask God to help you. God has allowed this to happen. Don't be sad. And they go on and on and on until you switch off. And you can't hear anything at all. O death, be not proud. John Donne is one of the lines spoken by elite poets and the words spoken by broken men and women who have lost their loved ones. One who believe that they will see them one day. Beliefs differ, but this is one that makes people feel better. It lessens the sting, so to speak. Our families, black families in particular, death will not be spoken of as if it is seen as bad luck. However, in the corners, you might hear someone say, which translates to, while God is still giving us life, we will do this or that. And yet, when you speak to the elders about death, they will tell you how much bad luck you are bringing to the home. At times, especially while growing up, we were forbidden to talk about death or to even ask questions about death. We were young and therefore grew up with the mentality that when you talk about death, you will call it into your own home. Death was something to be scared of, and we were even terrified to think about it. When someone mentioned it, our heads would turn away, and we would talk about something else to try and make that person stop talking about death. Now, we are all grown, we still hold on to the idea that talking about death is not the coolest thing anyone can do. We talk about it in different terms such as passing away, suffering a loss, or reaching the end of life. The dictionary explains the meaning of loss as theft, deprivation, and disappearance. When we lose the ones we love, we often feel robbed, deprived, and we feel that they just disappear without preparing us. We forget the circumstances that led them to passing on, or incurring a loss, or incurring a loss for lack of a better word. I have seen death strip people of their titles and livelihoods, pinning them to a wall, making them lose weight and fall deep into depression. I've even seen people commit suicide because they cannot deal with the loss of a loved one. I've even seen people unable to sleep for days or even months because they are not able to comprehend what happened. They also fall deep that in most cases it takes a miracle to dig them out. I have lived with people both black and white, and I have observed the way people deal with death. It seems that white people talk about death in a more casual way than black people. But one thing is certain, the sting is the same, no matter the color of the skin, the size of the man or the woman, the education, the bank account balance, the inner strength. When it stings, it really stings, and some are left crawling from day to day trying to cope. Color or standing make no difference when it comes to the sting. It is the same. So I'll read up to date. Remember, the purpose of me reading these books is just to create interest. To create interest for you to go and buy these books. This is how it looks at the back. Please ensure you get yourself this copy. You can get it from him. All the books that I've read, you know that Jackie Pamotzi's books, you can find them at any bookshop. Conscious in Crisis that I was reading on Wednesday, you can find it from Karabo Nkodi. I think I had tagged him on that reading. You can ask him for that book. So I'm not gonna read all the books, I'm just gonna read pieces in those books. And I'm not even gonna follow a certain order. So you'll have to go and buy the book to get to connect all the dots. Right. That was the first dosage of the book, and then now I come to my book, Denial of a Married Woman. This is written by Celia Zengele. You know, I tell you, my surname is Mutswening, guys. The Zengele surname is a broad surname. Why am I not returning the poor surname to the poor guy that gave me? I don't know. But what I know is that guy gave me 3 kids, and these 3 kids are carrying this surname. And if I change this surname formally, then that means lots and lots of paperwork for me, because I have to go and change each and every item. And there are certificates, some of the certificates that I acquired with this surname, and all the children are bearing this surname. Whether they go to school, they have this surname. A guardian has to be with this surname. If I am not in this surname, then that means more paperwork to prove that I'm still the mother. So I think between laziness to to do all the paperwork that needs to be done each and every time. I have to prove that these kids are my kids. And just laziness to go to Home Affairs to go change that surname, because it's quite a process as well to change a name or change a surname. But I'm telling myself that I will present myself. It's a present, a gift for my life that I'm gonna give it to me. The biggest present will be me going back to my surname and me acquiring another certificate in my maiden surname, not the surname. So I need to study, and while I'm studying, I'm gonna make sure that I skip that that surname. Finally, all right. This is my book now. Hozan. So funda incwadi yami. My book, the one that you don't wanna read, that you keep on saying, "Oh, please, I'll buy one. Come. Let me entice you a bit into what it is about." This is how it looks at the back. This book, can find it from me. You order it from me. You order it at Amazon. Amazon will tell you about a sale. Right now on Amazon is going at 154. The last time I checked during this week, is going for 154. But that does not count the customs, does not count tax, does not count delivery fee. Together, all these, someone has bought recently, they paid close to 500 rands from a book that, from me, cost only 250 rands. And then courier, depending on where you are, I can courier ka PEP, that is extra 60 rand. I can courier ka Postnet, that is extra 100 rand. It will still not get to 500, Amazon. But black people, because are black people, they would buy at Amazon, and they do buy my book at Amazon. And guess what I'm getting? I'm getting between 50 rands and 80 rands. That's all I'm getting from each book. Capitec and Amazon take their money away from that 500 rand, and then I'm left with only 50 rands or 80 rands. So that is up to you. Okay, I'm gonna read the first chapter out of this book. It was one winter day in June, and Thabiso was doing an afternoon shift between 2 and 4 p.m. and 10, between 2 and 10. Lindwe worked out at the school. Oh man, how can I read my book so bad? Sorry. Let me start afresh. It was one winter in June. Thabiso was doing afternoon shift between 2 and 10. Lindwe worked at a school in a few miles away. She started work at 2:45 and she knocked off at 2:45. But on this particular day, she asked to knock off earlier from work. The reason for this was that Dineo, her 3-year-old, had been sick the previous night. She had a fever and she was very restless and sleepless. Thabiso and Lindiwe agreed that Thabiso was to take Dineo to the doctor that morning, since he would be home. Lindiwe would go to work since she was hired temporarily and did not want to ruin her chances of being appointed permanently. She, however, asked to leave early as her child was sick. Lindiwe arrived home before 1 p.m. in the afternoon to relieve Thabiso so that he could also go to his afternoon shift. She arrived at the good side of a happy father and daughter. Dineo was full of life and appeared healthy. One would even think that Lindiwe had lied about Dineo being ill the previous night. Thabiso told Lindiwe that he did not take Dineo to the doctor because she woke up looking much better. Thus, he decided to stay with her and monitor her the entire morning. Lindiwe saw for herself that there was no need for them to take Dineo to the doctor. As was the norm, they kissed goodbye and Thabiso left for work. Lindiwe spent the rest of the afternoon with Dineo. That evening around 8, they were about to retire to bed. The lively Dineo just blatted to Lindiwe. Dineo said, "Mommy, do you know that Daddy urinated on me in here?" Pointing between her thighs. She was sitting in a squatting position. Lindiwe screamed out of shock. "What are you saying?" Dineo may have noticed that her mother was shocked and was reluctant to repeat what she said. Lindiwe tried to compose herself and lowered her voice and begged Dineo to tell her again what she had just said. Dineo said, "Nothing, Mommy. Papa didn't do anything to me." Lindiwe tried to assure her and that she would not be in trouble as she had done nothing wrong. Dineo was not having it. She was not willing to talk at all. That is the end of chapter 1. I'm not going to read the whole of chapter 2. I'm just going to finish wherever I feel like finishing. The words that Dineo uttered keeps echoing in Lindiwe's ears. Kept echoing in Lindiwe's ears as she tried to make sense of what she had just been told. She tried to sleep for a few minutes after this revelation, but so many thoughts came rushing into her mind. What if this is true? Can it ever be true though? During this time, the words that Dineo uttered kept echoing endlessly in her head. "Mommy, do you know that Daddy urinated on me in here?" The more these words echoed, the more she felt chills in her spine. Her stomach turned. Under the circumstances, she had no choice but to get to the bottom of the matter and try and find answers. As Dineo was not entertaining the issue anymore, she had to find answers before hubby came back from work that night at 11. She thought of all her friends and tried to sift them like wheat to determine who she could trust with such a sensitive issue. Because at the time, she did not have a driving license or a car. What would happen if this was not true? How would they look at Thabiso going forth? What if they were to, what if these rumors were to be confirmed? That indeed Thabiso urinated on Dineo. What then? Was she ready to deal with a whole can of worms? But waiting for daylight was not an option. Then a thought came to her. A thought came to her mind that would solve her problems with nosy friends. An ambulance. And calling an ambulance was not a hassle at all. They were taken to Midval Hospital. that was said to have specialist doctors for rape cases. While filling the forms at the reception, 2 police officials from Vereeniging police station came in and asked for Mrs. Lindiwe Mokoena. If Lindiwe did not pee herself from that shock that day, she would never pee herself. Who calls the police now? I'm gonna stop right there. We'll carry on again next week, Friday. Remember that we ended where Lindiwe called the police. Lindiwe was asked by the police as they came into the reception, and she was shocked at who called the police now. Yes, as you know that this book is a story of my life, but I wrote it as fiction, as a fiction book, changing all the names of the people, but did not change the names of places. The names of places remain the same, but the names of the people, I changed almost all, not all, but almost all of them. If you want to know exactly what happened, get this book for yourself. It will do you good. Thank you so much. Good night.